Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Today, we're taking a look at some content from a fat acceptance creator that says that you shouldn't talk about your weight loss at work because you might trigger somebody's ED. Isn't it funny how they're always so worried about triggering an ED, or like, I might slip into ED territory if I start to diet or think about my weight or health at all. Let's take a look at Lily, the subscribe puppy. She wants you to subscribe to this channel, and I do too. Before we dive in, let us first apply comb to mustache. Yes, it's this chick with all the bright colors and theatrics.
Did you know that when you talk about your diet or intentional weight loss effort at work or in a professional setting around colleagues, you risk triggering eating disorders?
Okay, so I can't talk about any good thing that's happened in my life because it might trigger somebody else in some kind of way. Did you know when you talk about being tall at work, it might trigger short people? Did you know when you talk about going for a run, it might trigger people with no legs? Did you know when you talk about that movie you saw, it might trigger blind people? Did you know how when you say, yeah, I hear you, you could be triggering deaf people? Yeah, you see how foolish it is when we go around worrying about what could trigger everybody else? In order to be free, you just have to live your life, dude. You can't be like, well, I was gonna say this, but this one group might get mad. Too bad, man. Welcome to reality. We have to put all of our lives on hold because it might trigger somebody else. Stop. Did you know when you complain about other people's weight loss journey, it makes you look jealous?
Put the jobs and well-being of your fat colleagues at risk by contributing to and perpetuating weight stigma.
It puts your job and your fat colleagues' jobs at risk because you're contributing to and perpetuating weight stigma. How does that put your job at risk? Your boss is going to fire you because you said, yeah, man, I lost 5 pounds. They're like, ooh, sorry, we're going to have to let you go. I'm sorry, Bethany, but we're going to have to let you go. Why? What did I do? Unfortunately, I overheard you talking about your weight loss in the break room at lunch. You lost about 5 pounds. That's perpetuating harmful weight stigma somehow, and we're gonna have to let you go. I am suing you. I am suing you so bad, and I'm gonna win. Yeah, probably. That's not at all a valid reason to fire somebody, so yeah, I could see that. Saying that you lost weight is perpetuating harmful weight stigma, and it puts the job of your obese colleagues at risk as well as you? How is that? The boss is going to come in and be like, hey, Sparkle Jams, you're fired. And then they're like, why? They're like, because Jill said that she lost 5 pounds. What? How does any of that connected, man? You guys can really do a lot of mental gymnastics and connect a lot of dots that shouldn't be connected just to appease your own narcissism and ego. It's quite a feat. Oh, I better not talk about feet because some people don't have feet. Sorry.
And last, but certainly not least.
Okay, why are you talking to me like that and playing with your hair? Last and certainly not least. I thought you were browbeating me and trying to make me feel guilty. Now you're trying to seduce me? Make up your mind. So am I supposed to feel bad, or are we going to go in the other room? What are we doing? Y'all need to stop perpetuating all this harmful weight stigma. Okay. All right, man, damn.
For the bejesus out of literally everyone around you, can you please shut the fuck up?
Our weight loss is boring you. It's like an alcoholic saying that everyone around them being sober is boring. They think that being drunk is just the coolest thing ever. They're like, oh, man, the life of the party. And everyone's like, no, Mark, this shit stopped being cute a long time ago, bro. We actually try to avoid you anytime you have a drink, buddy. Alright, that was amazing. Don't worry, I've got several more clips from this same creator. Dude, some of these takes that she's about to give us are freaking ridiculous, bro.
When we are asking people to prove their health status in order to be accepted or acceptable.
When did we do that? When did we ask somebody to prove their health status? Hey, Susan, I'm gonna need you to do like 5 push-ups right now. Prove it to me. Prove your health status, and then I will accept you as good and just.
We are not only operating under a healthist paradigm, we are walking
a healthist paradigm. First of all, define that for me. Before we continue here and you dribble with some more pseudo-intellectual nonsense, could you go ahead and define healthist paradigm for me, please?
In the footsteps of eugenicists.
We're walking in the footsteps of eugenicists. So when we ask somebody to prove their health status, whatever the hell that means, yada yada yada, health paradigm, yada yada yada, walking in the steps of eugenicists. What? What does any of that mean? Don't you love it when people who just want to seem intelligent use a bunch of big words that don't make any sense together? They're like, I'll have you know that the pandemonium of the sanctions on the rudimentary fundamentals of the cataclysmic Hannah Fuhlendorf. And you're just like, what the frick? None of those words go together, dog. I mean, you know, they're big words. You know, that's cute. I give you that. But none of them go together, my friend. Proving that you do not know how to use them. It reminds me of this character from back in the day in the show In Living Color. Who knows In Living Color? Oh, God, that show was so freaking funny, man. But there was this one character played by Damon Wayans. He was like some dude in jail, I think. And he's all like, now the perspicacity of the situation is fundamentally intrusive to our goshka boshka dinky dong. I don't know. I can't think of any more ridiculous words, but that was a great segment that he used to do. In living color, you can do what you want, you can do. In living color, in living color. That's where Jim Carrey got his start, actually.
If your fat politic does not allow for a range of abilities.
If your fat politic does not allow for a range of abilities and a range of health statuses, it is literally useless. Dang it, my fat politic does all that, I think. I don't know what my fat politic is. Do I keep that in the closet with the broom? Is politic ever used in a singular phrase like that? I've never heard it that way. I've only heard politics. Politic is like a specific kind of tick that your dog gets. You're like, oh, those deer ticks are bad, man, but you better watch out for that politic. That shit'll give you freaking Lyme disease. Even more than the regular one.
And a range of health statuses, it is literally useless.
Wow. The amount of work that they put into all this, they could be put in other areas that would better improve their lives, honestly.
Accepting fat people with the caveat, as long as they're healthy, isn't progressive, it's violent.
What? What? It's violent? What are you talking about? Who is accepting fat people as long as they're healthy? What are you talking about? Nobody cares. Words are not violence, okay? I know that people within your movement would like to classify them as such so that you can shut everybody else down and use actual violence against them for the words that they said, but words are not violence, my friend. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. We used to know that. If I can get you angry, then I can control you, and I can lead you in whatever direction I want with those emotions.
It fails to acknowledge the denial of access to healthcare that fat people face.
It does? Dang it. I hate it when it does that.
It fails to acknowledge the systemic design of fat phobia.
Goodness gracious, where did your eyes go? You're getting possessed by the demon of fat phobia right now in front of us. See, look at, where are your eyeballs, dog? Eyes literally rolled up in the back of her head as she becomes possessed with this bizarre ideology that everything else is the system's fault. There are people that are missing like the entire lower half of their body that are still in great shape or doing whatever kind of stuff, striving to better themselves and competing in like Special Olympics and all this type of stuff. Disabled Olympics, Special Olympics. I don't know if there's a disabled one specifically. I don't know if that's just a Special Olympics. I don't know. But the point is that there are people that are truly inspirational and they have the idea that nothing is going to hold them back. And guess what? Nothing is holding them back. They're not like, oh, the system is out to get me. I've never heard a successful person complaining that the system is holding them back from doing something in their lives. That's not winner talk, dude.
This is the bootstrapping mythology of American individualism. This mythology would have us believe that health, wealth, and whiteness are proof of morality.
Whiteness? What? Now you're bringing that into it? Oh, jeez. Oh, wow. You've really gone off the deep end now, dude. Blame some more groups for your own shortcomings.
It would have us believe that inequality and the privilege of the powerful is actually justice.
It would have you believe that inequality and the privilege of the powerful is actually justice. Oh, yeah. I guess I missed that part when it did all that. Dude, anything and anybody else that you can point a finger at instead of looking in the mirror, right? This is so much more work than just changing yourself. I failed the math test because the patriarchy. That's why I couldn't pass the test, right? The whole thing is ludicrous. It's like a study in human psychology to see how much one human being can completely delude themselves. Next.
Let's be intentional about the language that we use.
No.
Body positivity functions at the level of the individual. It's about personal self-acceptance.
Okay, we hate that, right?
And healing from body dysmorphia and...
Whoa, buddy. You're drawing extra eyes on top of your eyes? Okay.
Internalized white supremacy.
Healing from body dysmorphia and internalized yada 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 supremacy and misogyny. What? You need to heal from that?
And misogyny. Whereas the values of fat liberation and fat politics.
Dude, your double eyes are really throwing me off here. So body positivity is about healing from white supremacy. I see. What the fuck?
Politics center on dismantling systems which are inaccessible and often hostile to fat people.
Dismantling systems. No. Take care of yourself. You don't even know thyself, and you're out here trying to dismantle systems and stuff. That's why you're blaming it on everything external, because you do not know thyself.
Including public infrastructure, access to healthcare, housing, employment.
Including public infrastructure, access to quality healthcare, employment, housing, and consumer goods. Consumer goods? Right. They didn't make a 20X shirt, and now you're going to dismantle the whole system instead of just going to a place that does make the 20X shirt. You're like, they need to have that shirt available in every store. I don't know. This whole thing is just a horrible, slippery slope into communism. Every single one of these people.
And consumer goods. So while the values of fat liberation can and should be used to affirm your personal experience and an acceptance of your body, values which literally gave Boko the tools that needed to exist in the first place.
Dude, this is one of the most pseudo-intellectual tirades that I've ever heard.
It does not need you to accept your body in order to do its work.
It does not need you to accept your body in order to do its work. Fat liberation cannot wait for us to complete our healing before we demand equity for fat people. Okay, the word equity is nonsense. You get out of things what you put into them. You are not guaranteed a share of the pie just for sitting there doing nothing, okay? That's equity. Screw equity. Anytime you hear somebody use the term equity, they have been brainwashed, okay? Like, they're gonna come at you with all kinds of communist nonsense. What we need is equity, and give this guy more stuff and take it from that guy. No, homie. Everybody gets what they worked for, period. Everybody already has pretty much what they worked for. Equity is nonsense. Equality is fine. Equality is like, yo, you all get a fair shot at doing something. If you don't take it, that's on you.
Liberation cannot wait for us to complete our healing before we demand equity for fat people.
Equality means each individual or group of people is given the same resources or opportunities. Equity recognizes that each person has different circumstances and allocates the exact resources and opportunities needed to reach an equal outcome. Yeah, communism. Equity is nonsense. Equality is what you need. Everybody gets the same opportunity. If you do not take it, that's on you. Stop blaming the system. Literally, this is just newspeak for communism. If you want equity, move to China.
Fat phobia survives through intergenerational trauma.
Bruv. Oh God, it's getting old now. I'm trying to keep laughing, but oh, it's getting old.
It causes parents to look at their children and say,
I love you, child. I wish you would stop eating that way.
Your life would be better if your body was different.
How dare a parent say that to their own child? How dare they inform them of the reality of the situation? They should just hug them and be like, I love you, Timmy. Here's another Snickers. Because it's easier for me to do this than to do the hard work of telling you what is real.
We try to reach through generations to save each other from the pain of exclusion, of bigotry, of discrimination. And in turn, we become the gatekeepers, deciding which bodies are acceptable and which are not.
It's not that hard, dude, to eat healthy. It is not that hard to lose weight, man. Doing all of this crazy stuff is insane. Everything is some big theatrical thing, and it's a system, and it's like if we went to a family member's house to give them an intervention, right? And like we ring the doorbell and they go to the peephole and they look out there and they see us all standing out there and like, oh crap, They're here. This is definitely an intervention. You just start running out the back door and they keep chasing you like, dude, we need to talk about your problems. And you're like, no, you're just like running for miles and miles and miles. You stop and camp by the river and like they're still coming. And then you go into the river slowly. And then you go across and you come out. You just like, you're climbing mountains. You're freaking doing all this crazy work and stuff just to run away from the truth. There are more layers in this denial than an onion, and each one is stinkier than the last.
Making children aware that their bodies are a cause for concern and are being watched closely.
Oh yeah, is that what it was when your parents told you to stop eating so much candy? They were letting you know that your body was a cause for concern and we're watching it closely.
We experience weight cycling as we attempt to become smaller over and over again.
You mean you didn't stick to eating healthy, so you gained all the weight back over and over again. And this is somehow the system's fault. It's the systemic yada yada yada.
And we think, if I could just teach my child good habits.
Well, here's a pro tip. If you want your kid to eat healthy, you eat healthy too, and that's the only food that you have in the house. You just eat healthy yourself, and you lead by example, and they will not know any different.
That sugar is bad, and exercise is mandatory, and checking in with your body is unnecessary.
The sugar is bad, and exercise is mandatory. Okay, I agree with both of those. And checking in with your body is unnecessary. What is that? What is checking in with your body? The way you're using it, it clearly doesn't mean to look at your body and be like, oh crap, I'm going off the rails. I guess they mean checking in means to look at it and be like, this is fine. This is just fine, no matter what.
Actually, what we are teaching them is disordered eating, weight stigma, the body hierarchy, and a complete disconnection from and distrust of our bodies.
Well, if your body's telling you to eat ho-ho cakes, then you should distrust it. You know, these things are addictive.
And a complete disconnection from and
disordered eating, weight stigma, the body hierarchy, and a complete disconnection from and distrust of our bodies. Yeah, addicts can't really trust their body's signals. I'm gonna go intuitive drinking, okay? I'm gonna go intuitive heroin injecting. Where like, I'll just inject a little bit of heroin and then I won't want more heroin.
Trust of our bodies. We learn to fear fat and we gift that to them as if it will protect them.
We learn to fear fat? No, we just learned that being fat is unhealthy and we don't want our children to be unhealthy because that would make us failures as parents, wouldn't it? If you let your kids start smoking. We don't want little Timmy to get caught up in smoking stigma, so I bought him a pack of Camels. Next. Oh, here we go. Now here's where they're going to cite nonsense studies that are of no real importance or value.
Over the last 60 years, study after study has shown us the same thing.
That caloric deficits work.
Among people who pursue intentional weight loss, 95 to 98% of them will regain the weight that they lost within 2 to 5 years.
No, they won't. No, they will not. The fact that you can lose weight means that you can keep it off, right? This is just simple logic here. You lost it, you could keep losing it, or you could regain it back. People go on stupid fad diets, like I've said before, like the all rice cake diet, or the all pudding diet, or whatever freaking nonsense. Those don't work because it's not sustainable. What does work is eating simple, home-cooked meals that consist of a protein, a veg, and a starch in the appropriate ratios. It's simple, rustic, come on. It's very simple to do, and it's not diet food at all. Diet food is not what you were taught it was. You were lied to, okay? Accept it. Accept it, finally. You were lied to. The food pyramid was a lie, friend.
2/3 of those people will regain more weight than they lost in the first place.
Wow. Yeah, because all of those people have been on these fad diets. When is this study from? Like the 90s, when nobody knew anything about anything when it comes to health?
Significant, sustainable weight loss is not possible for the majority of the population.
What? I don't think I've ever heard of anybody that got weight loss surgery that did not lose weight. So it proves that when your stomach gets reduced in size and you have to eat less, guess what? You'll lose weight. It kind of, proves this common sense thing that we all know. When an obese person's like, I never even eat, or I eat healthy, like, that's literally not possible. That is not how the laws of thermodynamics work here. A lot of them are going out of their way to maintain that size because they are gorging themselves continually on processed food. that has no nutritional value. That's the funny thing about eating processed food. You're eating a lot of volume of stuff, but there's no nutrition in it, so you're still hungry. Plus, it's full of addictive chemicals. Sustainable weight loss is not possible for the vast majority of the population. Tell that to the countless millions of people who have lost weight doing simple things. Some people are like, yeah, I just cut out soda. I lost 10 pounds. Like, it always has to do with the type of food that you eat. You cut out this kind of food, you stop eating this kind of food, and you see results. But guess what? You got to stick to it. It doesn't just come back magically on its own. I was on this diet and I lost a bunch of weight, and then it all just came back. Yeah, no, what happened, Jill, was you stopped adhering to the diet and you started eating all this other crap. You probably stopped adhering to the diet because it was a nonsense diet to begin with. It wasn't sustainable. It wasn't a lifestyle change. You have to change. You have to make the choice inside of your own mind. Do I want to keep eating sweet food because it's so fun and interesting and quirky? Haha, look, I'm eating. Or do you want to be able to walk up a flight of stairs or be proud of what you're looking at in the mirror or any of this other stuff? The choice is yours. You can keep choosing to go off the rails, but then don't be surprised when you're off the rails and you don't look like Jill who stuck to the plan. Wait, no, was Jill the one who was eating? Or I don't know.
Many people who pursue intentional weight loss end up developing what's called chronic weight dissatisfaction or weight cycling.
Yeah, where you stick to it for a little bit and then you stop.
It's most commonly known as yo-yo dieting.
Yeah, it's most commonly known as not sticking to the diet because the diet was probably some unsustainable nonsense. The yoga body beach booty frickin' whatever.
And it's when you gain and lose weight repeatedly.
A lot of drug addicts, they get sober, then they get not sober, then they get sober, then they get not sober. Hopefully in the end they stay sober, but it doesn't always work out.
The science shows us that weight cycling poses a much larger risk to health than just staying fat.
No, it doesn't. Being overweight is a lot more unhealthy than losing weight and gaining it back. Your body's actually designed to gain and lose weight, believe it or not, which is why we have this thing called fat, where we can store excess energy in times of plenty, in preparation for times of famine. It's not weight cycling, it's called the way that your body literally was designed to work.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I imagine that it's nonsense, because it is. This was like otherworldly levels of mental gymnastics and denial. It was quite a sight to behold, honestly. Denial isn't just a river in Egypt. Denial is a strong and powerful thing. This is more of the stuff where people are like, if I can't do it, it's literally impossible. I mean, I read a study one time that said, hey, buddy, everything in your life is not your fault. It's somebody else's fault. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Hell yeah. No work needs to be done here. You could have at least kept going like this when you did it. I like the part where she said a bunch of crazy stuff and then she's like, okay, big boy. That was really the only funny part of this whole thing. Normally this person is very entertaining and hilarious with all the voguing and stuff, but this one really was just a load of bollocks, my friend. A big steaming load of bollocks, okay? I know you guys don't ever say steaming load of bollocks because that's not what bollocks means. It doesn't mean poo or anything, but, I still think it's funny. I know what bollocks means, so that makes it even weirder and funnier to call something a steaming pile of bollocks. You're like, what? What do you think bollocks means, stupid American? Shut up. You shut up. I'll use it however I want. Anyway, that about does it. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.